Hello, and welcome to our final webinar of 2024. In this special session, we're excited to share insights from our latest report, Key Food Safety Hazard and Risks Forecast Trend for 2025, the top 5 hazards and issues to look out for that might impact your supply chain. Whether you're tuning in to stay ahead of emerging risks or looking for actionable strategies to protect your business, you've come to the right place. This webinar is designed to fit your schedule, so feel free to pause, take notes, and revisit as needed. Food safety is a paramount concern for companies in the food and beverage industry as they face increasing challenges from a complex global supply chain. With unexpected risks emerging from geopolitical tensions, shifting consumer diets, and novel hazards, companies are under pressure to ensure the safety and quality of their products. The stakes are high, maintaining consumer trust, complying with regulations, and avoiding costly recalls, all hinge on a company's ability to anticipate and mitigate these risks. With an increase in product recalls and incidents, food and beverage companies need a more comprehensive view of their supply chain risks than ever before. Moreover, the rise of novel food risks, frequent regulatory changes, and shifts towards healthier raw product-based diets introduce additional uncertainties. As food safety issues increasingly evolve into food safety concerns, companies must move beyond reactive approaches and begin anticipating potential incidents. Without timely and accurate information, companies find it challenging to perform thorough ingredient and supply risk assessments, which are crucial for proactive risk management. What they need is a way to reduce the time spent sifting through various sources of information, filter out irrelevant data, and focus on risks specific to their suppliers, ingredients, and products. But that alone isn't enough, of course. These companies need to incorporate long-term forecasted risks into their risk mitigation strategies to stay ahead. And more specifically, they require tools to review geography-based risk levels, continuously monitor supplier compliance, and identify emerging risks early to adjust their strategies accordingly. To address the need for a more proactive approach toward food safety risk, this webinar will leverage FOODAKAI, a food risk intelligence platform, to provide a comprehensive overview of new and emerging risks in global supply chain. The focus of our webinar, as we already mentioned above, will be the top 5 increasing risks over the last 5 years, and more specifically, pathogens, heavy metals, pesticides, mycotoxins, and food fraud, those 5 categories. And our report insights, of course, when it comes to incident trends from the last 3 years, forecasted trends for the next 12 months, regions with heightened risk and high-risk product categories, and of course, last but not least, AI and predictive analytics methodology. Before we get started, I think it's time to introduce our guest speaker for today. Hello, Dimitris, and welcome. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Georgia. I'm Dimitris Effrosynidis. I'm a data scientist, a member of the data science team at Agroknow. And for the past years, I'm working on the AI and machine learning models behind FOODAKAI. Let's take a look into the future, into 2025, to see which are the emerging food safety risks and hazards. Our 2025 report offers both historical data and forecasting insights for the next 12 months on the 5 hazards, namely pathogens, heavy metals, pesticides, mycotoxins, and food fraud. These hazards and issues were identified based on surveys conducted among food safety professionals and experts. In this table, we can see for each hazard the product category with the highest number of recorded incidents. The countries with the highest risk for that particular combination of hazard and product are also depicted. Prominent product categories, as can be seen here, are nuts and fruits and vegetables. For each of the above 5 hazards, we will now take a deep dive into their trends and also forecasts. Let's begin with the first hazard, pathogens. Which is the trend so far for pathogens, we are talking, of course, firstly for historic trends, which are shown with the green line in this chart. We can see from the chart that there has been an increasing trend of incidence of pathogens across food products in the last 5 years, with the number of incidents doubling from 2021 to 2023. There were 2 peaks in the last 5 years. The first peak was in April 2022 and attributed to Salmonella in various chocolate products in Israel. And the second peak was observed in December 2023 and was attributed also to Salmonella in various food products in France. Having talked about the historic trend, let's now talk about the forecasted trend for the next 12 months. And this is with the red line in the chart. We forecast an overall decrease in incidents, in the trends of incidents by 18%. The forecasted number of incidents for the future 12 months is the red line at the end of the plot, and we will talk about the yellow line in the next example. So let's now move to this map. In this map, we can see that countries like France and United States of America will have the highest number of incidents originated from them. This is a country of origin map. And the next map, we can see the countries that are expected to have an increasing trend of incidents, and not the absolute number of incidents, but we just see the trend in the next months compared to the previous year. So the prominent countries here are Chile with 8 times more incidents than the last year, Bangladesh with 7 times more incidents than the last year, and Australia with 4 times more incidents. Let's see, according to our forecasts, which pathogens are expected to have the highest increase in the number of the incidents for the products they impact. First, we can see that Salmonella will have a high impact on products such as peanuts and pepper. Listeria will also have an impact a big impact on fresh cheese and smoked salmon. And Escherichia coli will have an impact on goat cheese and broccoli. Now let's move to the next hazard, which is heavy metals. Which is the historic trend so far for heavy metals? We can see that there has been an overall increasing trend of heavy metal-related incidents during the last years from 2021 to 2023. There was a peak in the number of incidents in October 2022 about lead in canteens in Mexico. As for the forecasting trends for the next 12 months, in the red line, we can see first, an increase in incidents by 35%, and second, that the increase will start from February and will continue throughout the whole year. Another observation here is to acknowledge how well actually this AI model performed in the past. We can do this by comparing the past prediction, which is shown as the orange line, with the actual number of incidents, which is shown as the green line. We can see that the model successfully predicted most of the peaks that actually happened, before they happen, of course, and the orange line follows closely the green. Based on our forecasts on heavy metal incidents, the countries of origin that are expected to have a significant number of incidents are China, France, and the United States of America. As for the trends, countries that are expected to have an increasing trend of incidents in the next months compared to the previous year are Germany and Tunisia with 3 times more incidents than the last year, and Morocco with almost 2 times more incidents. Let's see, according to our forecasts, which heavy metals are expected to have the highest increase in the number of incidents for the products or product categories they impact. Lead will have a high impact, as we can see, on fruits and vegetables and candies. Cadmium will have an impact on frozen octopus and spinach, and mercury will have an impact on sea breams and lobster. Let's now talk about pesticides. our third hazard. Let's see first its trend. There has been an increasing trend of incidents, as we can see, in the last 5 years. More specifically, we can see that there has been an over 70% increase in the number of incidents between 2020 to 2023. Of this, one significant peak was recorded in February, with many incidents attributed to various pesticides in different products. Let's now see about the forecasts with the red line for the next 12 months. We can see a decrease in incidence trend by 12% with no actual peaks in the next months. We can also see how well this model performed with its forecast in the past by comparing again the orange line with the green line. And we can see that both of them are very correlated and move like so. So moving on the map, we can see the countries that are expected to have a significant number of incidents. And these countries are India, China, and actually the most of the Americas. As for the trends, countries that are expected to have an increasing trend of incidents in the next year compared to the previous are Germany and Italy, with 5 times more incidents expected to happen in the next year compared to the previous year, and South Africa with 2 times more incidents. And let's now see, according to our forecast again, which pesticides are expected to have the highest increase in the number of incidents for the products or product categories they impact. First, ethylene oxide will have a high impact on fruits and vegetables and curry. Chlorpyrifos will have an impact on prickly pear and fenugreek leaves, and carbendazim, always hard to pronounce, will have a high impact on sea breams and lobster. And let's do the same now analysis for our fourth hazard, mycotoxins. Let's see the trend, the historic trend. We can see that there has been a steady incline in the number of incidents over the past 5 years, with an increase of over 30% from 2020 to 24. There was one significant peak in March for aflatoxin in various products in March 2024. For aflatoxin, it's in various products in France and the US, which is now the forecast trend for the next 12 months, for the next year. Seeing again the red line with our forecasts, we can observe that a decrease in incidence by 9% is forecasted. The number of incidents is expected to peak in March 2025. Based on the historical predictions, orange line, versus the actual values, which are the green line, we can also see that the AI model forecasted successfully the incidence from October 2022 to November 2023. And the countries of origin that are expected to have a significant number of mycotoxin-related incidents for the next year are the US and Turkey. And when seeing the trends, the top 3 countries that are expected to have an increasing trend of incidents in the next month compared to the previous year are Australia with 13 times more incidents, which is a lot, and Philippines with 7 times, and also Cote d'Ivoire with 3 times more incidents than the previous year. And finally, for mycotoxins, let's see which of them are expected to have a high increase in the number of incidents for the products or product categories they impact. First, aflatoxin, we can see that it will have a high impact on melon seeds and shelled almonds. And ochratoxin will have an impact on pepper and golden raisins. Let's move now to the final key hazard, which is the food fraud. Which is a trend of food fraud so far. We can see a steady and somewhat increasing trend in the number of food fraud incidents over the last 5 years. And what about the 12-month forecast? We forecast actually an increasing trend as the year will go by. But even with this increase, the total number of incidents expected in the next year will be lower than the last year, which had a lot of ups and downs. The countries of origin that are expected to have a significant number of incidents are the US and Australia, and also Canada. If we see the trends, the countries that are expected to have an increasing number of incidents compared to the previous years are Kenya with 5 times more incidents, Iran with 3 times, and Morocco with 2 times. And let's now see, according again to our forecasts, which fraud issues are expected to have the highest increase in the number of incidents for the products or product categories they impact. Adulteration is the first, which will have a high impact on milk products and fish products. And labeling and misdescription will have an impact on macaroni and flour. Okay, having finished these 5 key hazard analyses, let's now talk a bit about how FOODAKAI creates and uses AI and machine learning models for predictive analytics and forecasting. So, FOODAKAI is a food safety risk intelligence platform that provides a comprehensive overview of new and emerging risks within the supply chain. Its trend forecasting module enables companies to anticipate and integrate these risks and also hazards into their supply chain management strategies. This module, the trend forecasting module, delivers high accurate forecasts of incidents related to ingredients, finished products, and associated hazards, of course, whether they are chemical, biological, or otherwise on a global scale, based on their likelihood to increase or decrease. The AI-powered risk forecasts have been generated using a methodology. This methodology is tailored for each ingredient. The process is this. The first step of the methodology is to prepare the data set that is specific for each ingredient and it is not generic. So we handle each ingredient separately. The second step is to select the best machine learning approach, which fits the question that we need to answer for the specific ingredient. Then it is a very important next step that we follow an iterative process of parameterizing, training, and testing the performance of the model for the different values of parameters. The goal of this process, the iterative process, is to deploy the best performing model and deliver it through a live forecasting dashboard. And we do this every week. So every week we have fresh predictions for the next year for each of the thousands ingredients we monitor. FOODAKAI's trend forecasting takes advantage of more than 250 distinct factors in order to produce robust generalized models and accurate predictions. Forecasting with multiple factors refers to the ability of a forecasting model to use more than one factor. A factor is also called future variables or input, and it uses so many factors in order to predict future incidents. As a result, even with limited historical incidents in some ingredients, by taking into account multiple factors, we can have more accurate forecasts. Let's see how can the AI help with food safety processes. First, when we have accurate forecasts, we can effectively communicate emerging risks in our supply chain. Secondly, we can profile our suppliers based on the ingredients we get from them and their potential risks. Third, by early finding ingredients with high risk, we can see their locations of origin and take measures. about these locations. Fourth, with a comprehensive view of future risk on our supply chain, we can proactively adjust our plans. And fifth, we can assess our supply history and risk scoring based on based on that, we can continue the cooperation or switch suppliers based on how risky they are. And now, Georgia, I hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Dimitri. That was a very insightful key hazard analysis and AI and predictive analytics methodology. So thank you very much for the insightful deep dive. Before wrapping up, I think it's also very important to share some survey results with the participants when it comes to the food safety decisions that forecasting incidents and risk trends would help people for their supply chain. As you can see here from the results, the top answer from 52 people was that it would help to early identify emerging unexpected risks so that they can include them in their risk mitigation. But also, as you see above, to also incorporate longer-term forecasted risk in their mitigation strategy. As well, to take into consideration emerging threats when performing supplier and ingredient risk assessment, as you can see below. I think these insights underline how crucial it is to stay proactive and forward-thinking in food safety risk management. By leveraging forecasting tools and strategies, you can strengthen your supply chain, safeguard your operations, and build trust with your stakeholders. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining us today. You can find out how you can leverage hazard forecasts for your organization. And of course, speak with us. You can go ahead and scan the QR code or type in the link below. And we'll be very happy to talk with you in person. So thank you very much once again. Thank you, Dimitris, and thank you for everyone who's going to watch this webinar.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.